Patience is a virtue, ladies and gentlemen. And what I mean when I say that is because we're talking about the transfer of Matty Virtue from Blackpool to Wrexham. Now, it's a bit of a weird one if you look at this on paper, because you go, another midfielder. You know, why do we need another midfielder? But I'm going to run down Matty Virtue's stats, so his player profile essentially, the positions that he can play, and also include my thoughts on the potential signing or the imminent signing of Matty Virtue to Wrexham. Now, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe and tap that bell for more notifications as when to upload. And this is talking about the potential transfer of Matty Virtue to Wrexham. So moving into the player profile of Matty Virtue, here's a little fun fact. He actually has a double-barreled second name, which is Virtue Thick. Now, he was born in 2nd of May 1997, which makes him 26 years old. He joined Liverpool at under 11 level, so before that, he was at Chelsea in his youth career. And he was at Liverpool until 2019, having loan spells at Notts County in 2018 before he eventually made that move to Blackpool in 2019. Now, last season just gone, he spent it on loan at Lincoln City in League One. So he does have that EFL football experience. Now, he can play as a central midfielder or defensive midfielder, which I'll give my thoughts on that later on into the video, to why I think this is either a good transfer or a bad transfer. Now, he is contracted on loan. I mean, contracted to Blackpool, even, that was the words I was looking for. He's contracted to Blackpool, which means Wrexham, it's more than likely that Wrexham are going to be paying a fee for Matty Virtue, in terms of a bit of Wrexham tax being added on top of that. And now, if you are looking for anything in terms of sources or anything like that, go and look at Wonderboy Wrexham on Twitter, because he seems to be an ITK. He's come out of nowhere, he's come onto Twitter, he's blasted some transfers that have happened, some rumours that, you know, and stuff like that. It does make it interesting and a lot of things to report on as well. But let's delve into this season just gone, the 2022-23 season, to where Matty Virtue played 3 games in the Championship for Blackpool, but 30 League One appearances for Lincoln City. So the couple of the games that he's played for Blackpool this season just gone, the 3 Championship appearances, we are going to talk about that. Now, he did start 2 of the games in central midfield. He played 65 minutes against Reading and 45 minutes against Stoke. Now, he's been on the bench featuring Bristol City and Blackburn, you know, which was just games in the Championship that he's featured in, really, on the bench. But we're going to go more down to his loan season at Lincoln City. Now, he's played 2 games in defensive midfield, which was against Derby, which he played the full 90, and which was in a 2-0 win, and Bristol Rovers, which was a 6-3 win as well, which he also did play 90 minutes. Now, the rest of the games, he's obviously played central midfield. He scored 3 goals in League One, 1 assist and 7 yellow cards, playing a total of 2,252 minutes in League One. And to even talk about that, so he started a lot of the games, which means he'd slot in. You'd ideally see him slot into that Wrexham midfield. Can score a couple of goals. Seems like he's a big hitter as well. So would that suggest that Tom O'Connor's going elsewhere or Luke Young's going elsewhere? I don't know. Potentially, maybe. You don't know. But, you know, it is what it is in that front. He is a very experienced player, being 26 years old, playing in League One, as I've mentioned before. He does have that experience, and ideally it would make a good transfer to bring more experience into the Football League, into that Wrexham side that there is already. Now, he has played 3 EFL Trophy games, 2 EFL Cup games, which he scored a goal in, and 1 FA Cup game. So a total of this season just gone, he played 39 games, scoring 4 goals, 1 assist and 7 yellow cards, playing a total of 2,767 minutes. Now, just to mention as well, the 3 games that he has played in defensive midfield, he did get a goal and an assist from, so he can hit the ball, he can hit his men by getting yellow cards and things like that. So that is just a roundup of the stats of the 2022-23 season of Matty Virtue. Now, do I think this is a good transfer? Experience-wise, yes. Now, I'm just going to break it down into other things as well. So experience-wise, yeah, he can play DM, he can play CM, you know, defensive midfield, central midfield, so he can slot into that team. Now, do I think that we need another midfielder? Absolutely not, because you've got Tom O'Connor, Luke Young, Andy Cannon, Elliot Lee, James Jones, you know, Jordan Davis as well. So I probably am missing 1 or 2 players potentially. But would that mean that someone in that midfield is set to leave? Now, there was things about Luke Young potentially going, but it was also rumoured or also stated as well that he had some problems, hence why he flew home from the USA. And he's been utmost professional at the club. So there's a lot of things that go into this to say, would Luke Young leave? You know, you've not heard much about Jordan Davis. Is he set to go? Ideally for me, I think looking into that backup for Mullen is probably more important. Potentially looking at someone to... I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say replace Ollie Palmer, because even though he grabbed 15 goals in the National League last season, do I think he's good enough? Don't really think he's probably good enough to make the step up. Even though he has had experience, he's not been the most clinical of players in the EFL. So, potentially to grab a tall striker to replace him, I think this is more important things to set on the line than go for someone like Matty Virtue. Now, it has been reported as well that his club profile or his player profile on the Blackpool site has been nowhere to be seen, so it only spells out that Matty Virtue is set to leave the club, and the transfer to Wrexham would make sense. Well, it's something that's been reported that's either going to be happening today, tomorrow, but it has been reported that Wrexham will be making a signing before Saturday's game at MK Dons. Now, for me, as I say, EFL experience-wise, good signing, but you've got to look at that into more perspective. Is it a kick in the balls to the players like James Jones, who's highly underrated, and Luke Young? Potentially, I mean, but in terms of Wrexham, there will be some Wrexham tax on that deal. And for me, I think it's more important to get the experience in and the players who are good enough to ensure that Wrexham do carry on progressing up the leagues and continuing that story as well in terms of the documentary Welcome to Wrexham, and just the story of Wrexham all round. Really, it makes it interesting for the fans. You know, you see everything that's going on at the moment, but Wrexham still yet to make a signing. But, well, they have made the scrap that bit out, Jaffa. With Wrexham making only one signing this window, it would make sense to add another one, but I think that it's more important to look at positions elsewhere, you know, such as left wing back as well. You know, I could go on all day in terms of where Wrexham should strengthen apart from this midfield, but, you know, Phil Parkinson knows more than I do. He's the one with the UEFA badges. I'm the one just sat here, you know, chatting wham really about potential signs and things like that, but that's just my thought process on it. Good EFL experience-wise, as I've said probably for the third time in this video, but in terms of what we need, probably not what we need. But yeah, that's just my rundown on Matty Virtue anyway, the potential signing to Wrexham. Would you like to see him join the club? I mean, it's potentially imminent now anyway that's going to happen. But yeah, go check out @WonderboyWXM, I think his Twitter handle is on Twitter, for more things like this. I think it's just waiting for the thumbs up now in terms of deal anyway. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and tap that bell for more notifications as when to upload. I mean, I do like to be controversial as much as possible. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Matty Virtue. And yeah, I shall see you guys on Saturday at the racecourse ground.